Ominous music plays, faded visuals of the Estonian countryside. Video of grainy black and white footage from the Soviet era, juxtaposed with eerie shots of Karta's landscapes. Estonia, a nation long suppressed under communist rule. The camera pans across the desolate streets of Karta, giving viewers a feel of isolation. The small town of Karta was one of many to bear the burden. Distant sounds of heavy machinery, faint radio broadcasts in Estonian, and whispered voices. Footage shifts to a fishing boat in a misty bay, a lighthouse in the distance. For generations, Karta's fishermen relied on the sea, battling nature and superstition. Zooms in on an old fisherman mending a net, hands worn and weathered. But among them, a growing divide. Visuals of two groups eyeing each other across the beach, tension palpable. The fishermen pull their nets ashore, contrasted with shadowed figures along the shoreline, the wreckers. One group believed in the sanctity of the sea. The other saw only opportunity in disaster. Footage of a rusted, abandoned shipwreck along the coast. A week of terror begins. Scene shifts to a cozy, small cafe bustling with locals. September 12, 1989. Suddenly, a distant rumble grows louder. Then, an explosion fills the screen, flashes, smoke, chaos. Visuals of cafe patrons screaming, people running through the smoke-filled streets. The cafe had exploded, leaving devastation in its wake. Images of shattered windows, tables overturned, a child's shoe lying in the debris. An incident that marked the beginning of a week Karta would never forget. Video cuts to a damaged car on a rural road, faint sounds of sirens approaching. Tragedy struck again as two locals were found dead after a head-on collision. Footage of villagers standing in the rain, somberly watching as paramedics arrive. Scene transitions to frantic townsfolk gathering in the town square under ominous clouds. Fear swept through Karta like wildfire. Camera shows close-ups of terrified faces, whispers, and glances over shoulders. Panic. Superstition. The boundaries between reality and fear blurred. A group of people, eyes wide, muttering as they toss trinkets, flowers, and tokens into a makeshift altar. An elderly woman places a hand on a young man's shoulder, whispering an incantation. Some began to believe in a dark curse. Footage of doors slamming shut, windows shuttered, villagers keeping to the shadows. Rituals and restless spirits. Switches to eerie nighttime shots as figures gather near the lighthouse, carrying candles. By night, they tried to appease forces beyond their control. People lined the coast, placing flowers, old coins, and trinkets in the sand. Close-up of hands shaking, candles flickering in the night breeze. What was once superstition had become conviction. As the villagers place their offerings, the scene cuts to distant waves crashing against rocks. Cultural beliefs in full force. Cuts to an empty street in Karta at dawn, a haunting silence hanging in the air. As the chaos unfolded, the line between reality and folklore dissolved. Footage of villagers telling stories by firelight, wide-eyed as they share tales of witches and spirits. Pan to a hand-drawn symbol scratched onto a wooden door. It was as though the whole town had fallen under a spell. Shots of deserted streets, abandoned homes, and the sound of distant, unsettling whispers. In Karta, belief became reality. Final shots of Karta's quiet landscapes, the sea gently crashing against rocks. The events of September 1989 have left their mark. Black screen with final text fading in. A reminder of the fine line between fear and reality. Ominous music fades out as the screen turns to black.